Ho, 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 hoes. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is the place where we set it ablaze. We set it ablaze. Because fire purges, fire cleanses. Fire is what makes the wildflowers bloom. My West Coasters know what I'm speaking of, right? Except when we are burning in a cataclysmic, catastrophic environmental disaster. We don't want that kind of fire. However, um, it is part of the cycle of life. It can be for new things to come forward after the old is burned away. So let's hopefully get on that path. Starting on tonight, shall we? I'd like to welcome everybody to the jam. Thank you all so much for my dirty dozen that end up coming through here. YouTube is speaking of dirty. YouTube is doing so dirty, but that's okay because we still go on. But I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's program. I just want to talk about a few things. We're gonna go over to Kenya a little later on in the show because I just discovered this story, and it's not necessarily a new story, but I think of it as an underreported story where Marriott Hotel, more specifically the Ritz Carlton, has now built this luxury eco traveler, blah, 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 in a natural preserve on the border of Tanzania and Kenya. And animals, zebra, elephants, wildebeests, are fucked up because it is built directly in their migration zones, right? The places that these animals have been traveling, the routes and the paths these animals have been traveling for thousands of years, who fucking knows, forever, are now being intentionally disrupted for capitalism and for Westerners' pleasure. It's gross. We're going to discuss. My palate cleanser tonight is an interesting one. There was a ruling in a Virginia federal court making public the location of hundreds of flock cameras in the Hampton Roads area. And I wanted to pose it to my learned and esteemed chat. What can we do with this information? What can we do with this information? How can we use this information to our advantage? Put your thinking caps on. But to start off, I want to talk about. Hold on, let me pull up my doc because I smoked a J earlier. Now I done forgot. Thank you all so much for understanding. Open Google Docs. How was y'all's holidays? Were your own aunties stoned at the dinner table? Like your favorite auntie was? Like your favorite YouTube internet auntie was? Was your aunties and uncles stoned at the dinner table? Was your grandma stoned at the dinner table? Nigga, this is 2025. Okay. We in different times. Everybody's fucking stoned from grandma to grandkids. Okay. Okie dokie. But let's talk about this bitch ass nigga Donald Trump. And, to say something is wrong with Trump obviously would be like declaring that water is wet, no doubt. But among the dozens of troubling and deeply problematic and affronts to humanity things that this president and this administration continues to do, um, the continued drumbeat towards war, towards Venezuela, to me is a problem, okay? As is the continued enabling of the genocide in Gaza, which we will talk about later because ceasefire, what? A what? Ceasefire where? Where's that at? So obviously these imperial powers just want to continue to fund and make sure that the war machine continues to roll on, and Venezuela seems to be in the sights of the United States. Obviously the big scandal with Secretary of Defense Pete Keggs credibly accused of making an illegal order. But again, I have to kind of laugh at the disingenuousness of the mainstream legacy media as they discussed, did Pete Hegseth commit a war crime? Well, let's run it back. I'm sure. Did he commit a war crime this week? Did he commit a war? He is not the only one, okay? Committing war crimes and killing civilians, non-war combatants, is standard operating procedure for the United States and its allies. So all this pearl clutching, trust me, and I want to be clear here, I am extremely sympathetic to the people that have lost their lives to this rotten fucking government, in particular this administration, this time, right? And condolences to everybody, the millions of casualties that the United States and the West have wreaked upon the rest of the world over, many decades. But let's focus on the most recent victims, I suppose. I'm not unsympathetic. I'm deeply sympathetic. I'm heartbroken that these innocent folks were targeted by fucking SEAL Team 6, and these victims are in a fishing boat. What? But for the media all of a sudden to have a conscience about, hey, we shouldn't kill innocent people. And it's like, well, when did you guys have this epiphany? In 2025? Where the fuck was all this empathy in 2003, 2006? 2011, 2014. Like, what the fuck are we talking? 1974. Like, what I just hate it here so goddamn bad, because this whole goddamn country lives in a farcical delusion of not only American exceptionalism, but American heroism. We the good guys of the world. We the police of the world. What would the world be without us? Nigga, they would be alive. Okay, that's exactly what the fuck they would be. We would have tens of millions of more people here, but for the United fucking States. Okay, so here is the latest, just absolutely disconnected statement from this president again. But it's Trump this time. It didn't have to be Trump. It was Biden last time. It was Obama before that, or Trump before that, and Obama before. Like, these motherfuckers just say whatever to justify the bloodthirsty nature of the U.S. and the Western war machine. I hate it here so fucking bad. But listen to how Trump makes an excuse for why he is targeting Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. They're trying to get Maduro to step down. They say Maduro running big coke. Maduro was like, nigga, what? Running big coke where? Running big coke, right? But in fact, the nigga that really was running big coke, the nigga that really was doing 45 years for running apparently ginormous amounts of cocaine, the former Honduran president, Juan Orlando Hernandez. I hope I got his name right. Like I said, I smoke a lot of reefer. But apparently Mr. Hernandez was out here pushing 400 tons of coke. God damn. It's a lot of cocaine. You know what I'm saying? All I hear is Pimp C verses flowing through my head about, I got the cocaine lady, white lady by the key. What did Pimp C say? 2 out of 1. Step on it to win. Step on it to win. What did it say? He said the essays is my partner's mafia stamp on the end. 2 bricks solid, make it worth 1. I rock it up myself and then I chop it up with bun. A pocket full of stones. I done bought a chrome, smoking, riding dirty. Got a chip off in my cell phone. Get the shit pumping. Finna pop the trunk. Woo! I'm sorry. Peace to the God, Chad Butler. But anyway, I'm sorry. So let's listen to this dumbass Donald Trump. Live, and this is, again, this is not beholden only to Trump, but this whole entire country just lives in a completely separate reality in which what they say contradicts exactly what they do. But I guess that is, of course, the goal. It is the goal. So let's go ahead and run the clip. Brother Will, thank you so much.
Clear how you want to keep drugs out of the U.S. Right. Can you explain more about why you would pardon a notorious drug trafficker?
Well, I don't know who you're talking about. Which
Juan
one?
Orlando Hernandez.
Well, I was asked by Honduras, many of the people of Honduras, they said it was a Biden setup. I don't mean Biden. Look, Biden didn't know he was alive, but it was the people that surround the Resolute desk, surround Biden when he was there, which was about very little time. And the people of Honduras really thought he was set up, and it was a terrible thing. He was the president of the country. And they basically said he was a drug dealer because he was the president of the country. And they said it was a Biden administration setup. And I looked at the facts and I agreed with them.
What evidence did you share that he was set up and that he wasn't?
Well, you take a look. I mean, they could say that you take any country you want. If somebody sells drugs in that country, that doesn't mean you arrest the president and put him in jail for the rest of his life.
No, I guess it means you just fly B-52 bombers over the capital city and threaten to annihilate the president from the sky. So Trump, obviously, he can't hold two thoughts in his head at the same time. He doesn't care if he comes across as a hypocrite. He doesn't even hear how hypocritical he is. He wants to do the exact same thing to Nicolas Maduro that he claims that Joe Biden did to Juan Hernandez. And it's like, okay, well, I guess this is Maduro's turn, right? We're going full on 1950s and 60s with continued interference in Latin America from the United States. And let me say this real quick about Juan Hernandez. Like, I looked a little bit into the situation in terms of what he was accused of. I can't say if this man was running big coke, okay, because this is the United States, right? They will pin cocaine on anybody. Shout out to my man Noriega. Maybe Noriega was running big coke, not the podcaster, not the rapper. Manuel Noriega, not from the Philippines, Pharrell, but from Panama, right? So this is part of the United States imperialist playbook. Any leader that I guess doesn't play ball, doesn't cooperate, or stops cooperating, whatever with the imperialist game, will be labeled a drug, that's not just a drug dealer, drug kingpin. Jesus Christ. So anyway, I'm not sure if Juan Hernandez was out here pushing big coke. I seen a couple of Honduran American creators that claim that he was indeed doing all that. In fact, one creator I saw discussed a $1 million election campaign contribution that came from El Chapo. apparently El Chapo wanted the Hernandez brothers in power because Juan Orlando has a brother named Tony who was also locked up in U.S. prison for big coke dealing. So I don't know if these mans was out here dealing coke or not. But the point is this: the only reason that drugs are the pretext for any fucking military action is to get the hands on the Venezuelan oil. We know this. This is the 2020s version of what Iraq was in the aughts, right? The latest opportunity for the United States to use its might in its military in order to secure and extract natural resources from other countries without permission, first of all, let alone without just compensation. We know that's not even an option. So again, and you guys, let me ask y'all this: like, why do you think folks are not? I'm talking about people in this country. Why are we not as upset about this potential invasion of Venezuela as people were about the invasion of Iraq? And I understand, I'm trying not to sanitize my memory too much because I'm getting up in age. But I mean, I remember that time very clearly in the early 2000s after 9/11, this, that, and the third. And I know that the country was split, we'll say. My generation, I don't think was, there were some splits because we had some radical patriots that were Gen Xers that, wanted to go kill towheads. I mean, that's not my friend. You understand that was their position. And they were very excited to go over there and do so. And then look at them 20 years later crying the blues because the military didn't shit on them and spit them out, ain't took care of them. Maybe we should all make different decisions. But anyway, hold on. I am not certain if any of this is going to bear any fruit in terms of actual consequences or accountability. Well, hold on. Let me back this up real quick. I also have another question for y'all. How much do you think Juan Orlando Hernandez, how much do you think this presidential pardon, how much do you think that cost? Because Trump doesn't do favors for nothing, right? It's very clear by the presidential pardons that he has already doled out. It has been a whole ass quid pro quo, right? Like people have had to give up something, donations to the presidential library, buying his shitty fucking meme coin, doing something to give up some funds. Even in the tariff situation, we've had a number of countries come over to the United States and literally to give this nigga bribes in order to get their tariff situation improved. I can't remember, was it Mint Press or was it More Perfect Union? I saw a piece in which the reporter was focusing on a picture of Trump in the Oval Office, in particular, a picture of his desk where there was a gold bar and a gold desktop Rolex clock, both gifts from Switzerland, whom had been slapped with a raised tariff. And after Trump got his gold bar worth $130,000 and his Rolex tabletop clock, Switzerland got their tariff reduced, right? So it's absolutely pay to play for this White House. So how much do you think? I mean, because come on, if Juan Orlando Hernandez, if the accusations are true, I can only imagine how much 400 tons of cocaine can yield. It sounds like hundreds of millions of dollars. He had the bread. How did Juan Hernandez get his bread to Donald Trump? Who laundered that? Jared Kushner, who did that? Witkoff, who went down to Honduras and picked up that check? Got Mans out of jail. Mans walked out of jail. I didn't know. I heard. I saw it on the news actually that he was locked up in West Virginia of all places. Mans walked out of jail today. That check must have cleared. That crypto transaction must have went through. Here's the thing I can say about Trump, though. I appreciate, I mean, it's mask off, baby. No fucking pretense. Like, it's not Joe Biden trying to make excuses as to why Hunter got a job with the Ukrainian mining firm. like that was a legitimate thing. Like, at least I can appreciate, Trump bearing naked the grift, right? I hope more people are finally starting to understand what all of this is about in this country. And I hope that they are understanding we need to make a different decision. We need to turn away from this entire system. This is not even a fucking democracy. I was looking at some old H. Rap Brown clips. Rest in peace to Imam Jamil Alameen, because he was talking about how, you give people the vote or the illusion of the vote as though they have some sort of choice or that gives them that some sort of power. Well, what kind of power do you have? He was saying at the time when your candidates, your choices are it was Nixon, Spiro Agnew, Wallace. And I'm like, he's naming off all these Klansmen. He could be talking about 2024 very, very easily. Oh my gosh, shit doesn't change in this goddamn country. The same things that our elders were preaching 50 years ago is so applicable today. And it's not this fact that we haven't learned. I think that we just can. I think we're getting simultaneously more tired and more emboldened, right? And I'm hoping that our enthusiasm for liberation will outweigh our exhaustion, but I ain't sure. I ain't sure. And talking about war crimes, actually, speaking of war crimes, I wanted to talk about Gaza here for a second because it's a lie, another lie. Not that we expected truth from liars, but to be clear here, we still can't take our eyes off of Gaza because the genocide hasn't stopped. Like the IDF takes breaks, IOF takes breathers, right? And then they come right back, and then they're worse than ever. So I know you guys remember because we covered it here. Was this a year ago now? The pager attack in Lebanon, where Israel's secret covert unit elaborately planned over years a diabolical operation to somehow embed explosives into the pagers frequently used by Hezbollah members. And Hundreds of people, I even know, let me take that back. Thousands actually suffered crippling injuries, and I think many dozens were actually killed. And that in itself, speaking of war crimes, absolutely a war crime, absolutely a game changer when it comes to what the theater of war looks like and how far it can expand into targeting, not it's not overtly civilian populations, but in this kind of surreptitious way where you have the fucking phone with the goddamn bomb. So I'm telling you to tell you this because apparently in the midst of this bullshit ass ceasefire, there's been an influx of cell phones into the Gaza Strip. And Palestinians are rightfully fucking skeptical and justifiably concerned because they overstand their enemy better than any of us, right? And as far as Israel was concerned, that pager attack against the Lebanese people was a success. So why not try to replicate it? So I want us to go to Gaza. This is a clip. Oops, sorry, I almost hit myself in the mouth. This is a clip from a brother named Abdullah. Um, and if you guys are on social medias, I know you guys see our Palestinian brothers and sisters consistently and constantly showing us just the depth of their situation and how horrific their conditions are. But it's like Israel doesn't seem to get enough of like the Palestinian people just haven't suffered enough, and they think of new and insidious ways to try to get these people to break, and they are not broken. But Israel keeps trying. So let's look. I have a couple of clips here. This first one is from a brother, Abdullah. He's in the Gaza Strip. So let's listen to his concern when he noticed that there was an influx of all things, new cell phones coming into the Strip. Let's take a listen.
Afternoon and welcome to the daily update. Good afternoon and welcome to the daily updates, my friends. Today's update is about phones, especially iPhone 17 Pro Max. So if you are not from Gaza, click all the buttons on the screen, share this video and watch it at least 3 times, let it goes viral, because something crazy is happening in Gaza. Guys, while we are waiting for aid and food and tents and things to help us to survive during the catastrophe that we have been through the last 2 years, we were surprised that huge amounts of phones were allowing to enter Gaza, and especially iPhone 17 Pro Max. Actually, at first it was costing $11,000 for iPhone 17 Pro Max. Now it's costing $1,500 only, and that's a huge gap between the two prices. Not only iPhones, but Android, different types of phones, Samsung, Xiaomi, and Poco. I don't know if there is another types of phone. But why? Why now they are allowing this huge amount of phones? And some phones, for the first time in my life, in Gaza Strip, I see phone made of gold and diamond enters Gaza. Also iPhone 17 Pro Max. So what do you think they are allowing in this moment all of these phones to enter Gaza? Actually, there is 2 sure accidents happened. The first accident, a phone were exploded back in a phone shop in Nusayrat, and the second lady was using her phone. She just bought it and she was using it, then it exploded in her hand and cut some of her fingers. So this make me think about, what if we are facing another pager operation? And you remember the pager in Lebanon, guys? Maybe I am going too wild here. Maybe it's some traders who want to get some money and get benefit, because everybody is trying to get benefit of us, and maybe not. So tell me in the comments, what do you think about that? Salamun min Gaza.
Salam, Abdullah. Sheesh. I mean, listen, things can sound far-fetched. It can sound deeply conspiratorial, but when you look at the level of evil and carnage that the enemy of the Palestinians has already committed, you cannot put nothing past these people. I'm telling you, that is the one thing I feel is our weakness as folks of our ideological beliefs. Like, I think sometimes we lack imagination of of the capabilities of the evils, right? And all we have to do is look back, not even too deep in history, right? In the recent past, they show us how horrific they are and how inhumane, how just anti-life these people are. But isn't that interesting though? And we know what tight controls that Israel had over the ins and outs of humanitarian aid coming to Gaza, to the extent that they were intentionally, still are probably, restricting access to baby formula, to clean water, I mean, all the necessities, even beyond the food, which is, of course, being weaponized against the Palestinian people in a intentionally created starvation crisis. But now you get a new iPhone 17 Pro Max. So I want us to take a look at this next creator. Her name is Ash Bay. And Ash, I couldn't tell, was she wearing a hijab? I'm not sure, but she had her location as Dearborn, Michigan. So I know that there is the biggest, actually, Palestinian American community in the United States is in Dearborn. And Ash sounded like she knew she was talking about. So she had a little bit more details about the influx of brand new cell phones, not just Apple iPhones, by the way. I think Samsung, there were some specific Samsung models that she's going to mention. But I wanted to say this real quick before we look at this clip, guys. Seeing this genocide take place over the past 2 years and seeing the way that the Trump administration is just the American surveillance and militarized police state on steroids. Anything that has been done to the Palestinians can and will be done to us, has in some ways been done to us, right? Maybe not as concentrated of a space and maybe not affecting as many people in such a short duration of time, but Black and brown people on this continent have certainly experienced much of what the Palestinians are currently going through. I said that to say your phone is the fucking enemy. Your phone and my phone is the enemy, because how deep does all of this infiltration with smartphones go? We would be silly to think that it would only be limited to the enemies immediate of Israel, Hezbollah sympathizers or supporters in Lebanon, Palestinians in Gaza. Why not everywhere else in the fucking world, including Los Estados Unidos? So let's take a look at this sister coming from Michigan, and her perspective of, and what she's been hearing, I believe, from her folks in Palestine pertaining to this influx of cell phones to the Strip. Let's take a listen.
Multiple Palestinians in Gaza have begun reporting that smartphones have started to explode in the hands of Gaza residents. Mobile phones, specifically Samsung devices, have been reportedly exploding in the hands of Palestinians, with at least 2 cases now reported, with one of those cases being a woman who was transferred to Al-Shifa Hospital with major injuries. Now, just recently, Israel had actually allowed a shipment of mobile phones into the Strip in a move that many thought was bizarre at the time. Now, many fear that this is a repeat of the Israeli pager attack on Lebanon, in which they sabotaged Hezbollah pagers to explode in the hands of civilians. People were left completely disabled, blinded, lost the use of their hands, injuries to their stomachs. That attack killed at least 42 people and injured 3,500 more. It was one of the deadliest attacks in Lebanese history. And since then, Israeli officials have gone on record to say that they have technology like this planted in devices all across the world. That very insider said there is not a technical device in the last 5 years that hasn't been tampered with. And when the interviewer questioned him and said, "In Lebanon?" he said, "Anywhere you can think of." In fact, it was actually just recently reported that many Samsung phones in the Middle East come with an Israeli spyware app pre-installed. The app automatically collects location and IP data and cannot be fully removed from devices. Those devices specifically being the Samsung A17, ones that explicitly ended up in Gaza in the hands of Palestinians. Israel has flooded Gaza with backdoored phones loaded with explosives, tracking their every movement. Cell phones have become a lifeline for people in Gaza to find the funds that they need to feed and shelter their families, and Israel is turning those devices against them. If you are in Gaza, in the West Bank, in Lebanon, in southern Syria, anywhere that Israel considers a target and you own a Samsung phone, throw that shit away right now.
Dog. Y'all niggas gonna have to learn Morse code. Not people in Palestine. I'm talking about y'all niggas in the chat. Y'all, we gonna have to take it back. I know I'm an analog girl in a digital world, and I know I waved my flag for the 20th century big time because I'm not a fan of all this shit in the 21st century because this shit is bogus. God damn, your fucking phone, not only a snitch, but a fucking bomb, literally ticking time bomb. Yo, drop me back in 98, nigga. Get me out of here. This shit is bullshit. But no, seriously, like we really have to reconsider our relationship with handheld technology in the form of smartphones. Like, if Lebanon and Palestine, why not here? Why not anybody that has ever tweeted or posted a social, something on socials or liked a comment or whatever the fuck, anything that the state opposes or views as oppositional, right? Like the Palantir, all that shit is scooping up all the shit. They're going to have the capabilities. They're going to know exactly your IMEI number, which IMEI number on your phone has been saying free Palestine. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not far-fetched. I don't think this is being over dramatic at all. Again, we cannot lack the imagination because it's not like they won't do it to people. They are doing it currently and have done it. And guess what, y'all? We ain't fucking special, okay? We are no better than the people suffering right now in Gaza, ducking missiles in fucking Gaza. Like, but for the grace of God, go we rather. So this shit is diabolical. It continues to be diabolical. Please stress to folks that you know that you don't know, online and in real life, that there is no ceasefire. The genocide continues. It has not stopped. They are still raining missiles. They are still slaughtering people. They are still digging mass graves. They are still targeting hospitals. They are still denying humanitarian aid. They are providing bomb-riddled cell phones into the Gaza Strip. And it is to even say it is a blight on our humanity, again, it just understates it. There's not even words that truly exist for this carnage that the Palestinian people are living through. And the fact that all of us continue to be traumatized and re-traumatized by it. But trust me, you have to still continue to engage. I know it's fucked up and I know it's fucking with you because it's fucking with me. But we cannot turn away, because as soon as we turn away and stop ignoring what's going on in Gaza, then they just steamroll it as though they haven't been steamrolling it already, but it gets worse. I'm going to take a quick break. Thank you everybody for being here. Let me give my acknowledgements. Thank you so much, Swery Ferry, for your Turkey Day love and support. I certainly appreciate it. Thank you for your comment on my hair. I meant to wash it this morning, but I didn't because I was rushing. I was trying to get on the show, and then I got concerned because I couldn't get in touch with the ear doctor, which is very unlike the ear doctors. And I was legit concerned. I'm sending a nigga text and shit. I'm like, nigga, hit me up when you get a chance, because you're not answering. His shit was going straight to voicemail. I'm trying to tell y'all, ear doctor, very much to his credit, and I mean this from so sincerely, like for all the times I've worked with people, like consistency and professionalism, it can vary. It can vary in the media industry. And Naka is extremely professional. I understand he says wild things often, but when it comes to pushing them boutons and being on time, like he don't play at 8 o'clock. He's like, all right, y'all, it's 8. Y'all ready? All right, cool. It don't matter if you are, if you ain't. we going on at 8 o'clock. And you see your doctor be trying to punch out on time at 10 a.m. So anyway, it was quite unusual for him to not answer and not be on and not respond. So I was glad that he popped up and gave us proof of life, because seriously, like I had just got his address too, because I was going to send him a belated birthday item, and he had just sent me his address, and I was going to send that shit to Kamal. I was like, Kamal, I said, you know where Naka live? He said, no. I said, look at these niggas. These niggas don't even go to each other's house. They live in the same town. But anyway, he said he did. I said, well, I'm about to send you his address. You go after we log off the show, you go over there and check on that man, because I don't know why. It's so fucked up, but I just thought that he was over there passed out off the Tussie. Now I know Ear Doctor probably does not snort Tussie, but every time I see Sean P. Diddy Combs and I think of old niggas, us, the old niggas, 50 plus, I said, this nigga daddy was out there sniffing Tussie. So anyway, Ear Doctor was partying like a rock star for his 50th birthday. So I thought he might have been sniffing some Tussie. I'm glad he wasn't. He made the correct decision to leave that pink cocoa alone. So anyway, thank you all so much for being here. Please like the video. Again, I'm looking at these numbers and I'm like, I don't know what is going on. Cause it's anyway, I don't know if this double stream, I don't know what this shit is doing, but all my shit is way down. Are you guys getting notifications? Please share in the chat and or in the comments if you're getting a notification when the show goes live, because I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. We used to do well on the vertical stream, now not so much. So we press on. Mike Mack, did I big you up last time for your support? If I didn't, let me say it now. Thank you so much for your Cash App support. Thank you so much to all of our patrons. Thanks to everybody. So I wanted to talk about, I definitely consider this an environmental justice story. Welcome, you guys. It's Burning Down with Kim Brown, Tuesday, Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And I want us to go to the continent. I saw a sister distressed on social media talking about the situation in one of the most pristine, or at least it was pristine, natural preserves in Eastern Africa. Okay. And it straddles on the border between Tanzania and Kenya. And this particular wildlife preserve is home to everything, God damn it, everything in Africa that you can think of. And it's also home to the Maasai people, right? And the Maasai obviously are the indigenous people of the land. And there have been a number of hotels that have been granted permission, by whom I'm not clear. I'm not sure if this wildlife preserve is jointly run and operated by Kenya and Tanzania. But regardless, one of the hotels is the Marriott chain. And this particular hotel is the Ritz-Carlton. And it's being dubbed as like this eco luxury experience. There's 20 sort of clubhouse suites. There's plunge pools. There's panoramic views. There's all this shit. And here's the fucking problem. They built this hotel, which just opened August of 2025. They built it directly in the migratory pathways that are used by zebras, that are used by wildebeest. Okay. And as these animals are crossing the Mara River, many of these wildebeest are drowning. Like, I want you guys to remember, and I know it's not hard for y'all, Lion King, right? The cartoon. I don't know about that. I'm talking about the original cartoon. The 90s cartoon with a wildebeest. You know what I'm saying? Simba almost bit it, getting trampled by the wildebeest. But that exact scene of the wildebeest migration, the stampede, the great stampede, and them swimming by the hundreds or even thousands across the river to go to their next either grazing or breeding grounds or whatever. But this is what these animals have instinctively been programmed to do for thousands of years. And now, because the Ritz Carlton wants travelers to have an eco luxury experience somewhere in the neighborhood of like $4,000 a night, now the wildebeest, I guess, just have to fucking die. Like, what? How is this a thing? I mean, this literally cannot be life. Like, capitalism literally devours every single thing. But hold on, let me get to where we are here on tonight. So, Will, let's go ahead and hit that first clip, because this is a sister who has stitched a video of when this hotel monstrosity was under construction and how the wildebeest were coming up to the property, you know, where they are used to migrating at, and they're being turned around and the animals were confused. So, and this could have catastrophic consequences. So, well, let's go ahead and look at the video.
This is a crossing that these wildebeest have probably used for centuries, literally, and they're being blocked. Why are they being blocked? So that Marriott can open a hotel in the midst of this nature reserve. This is Masai Mara in Kenya. Like, look, you can literally see people shooing them back, like forcing them away. Like, it's so sad to watch, because obviously now they're all making their way back down. Clearly they don't understand a permit has been granted in the midst of their crossing. These animals have no clue where they're supposed to go now. So you see them all going back to where? So these migration routes that have been used for centuries are being destroyed so that rich people can enjoy nature that will really no longer be there if they continue with this. And this isn't just wildebeests, this is zebras, this is elephants. They're trying to retrace their ancestral paths and they're not able to. Maasai leaders have been very vocal about trying to stop these hotels. And don't get it twisted, this isn't just, oh, it's only a hotel. This is one of the last great migration areas on planet Earth. This isn't just any piece of land. If they continue to close these migration corridors, then the whole concept of migration collapses. And with that collapses the ecosystem. This is exactly how extinction begins. This is still going through the courts. People are still fighting in order to get this decision overturned. But if it's allowed to continue, this is a dangerous precedent that is being set, that indigenous lands and protected migration areas are just sold to the highest bidder. Because obviously this isn't just the animals, there are also indigenous people that still live on that land, that are local guides and respectful of the land because they come from there, they understand the history of it, they have seen this trend of hotel groups like Ritz-Carlton coming in. They're already overpopulated with this kind of tourism. The location of this particular Ritz-Carlton is one of the last areas of the Mara that hasn't been built on. This is a path older than any map, than any country. It's literally in these animals' heartbeats. It's their instinct. and that's being blocked just so that rich people can effortlessly blend luxury, authenticity, and adventure to craft a once in a lifetime moment.
Are rich assholes and capitalists really hastening the extinction of some of this planet's most amazing animals just for their own personal recreation, leisure, and convenience? The answer is, of course, yes. And, you know, I really, I truly feel pain. Like, I don't even want to, I can't even, I'm going to have to be careful here because I don't want to get emotional. But when it comes to, I feel pain for people too, but I feel a lot of pain for animals, right? Like, because animals don't got the pistol, right? Or the option. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's extremely hard for animals to defend themselves against the might of humans' bullets, right? And when I looked into this particular story, by the way, so this hotel opened August of 2025. The Maasai people filed a lawsuit in order to get them, the Marriott group, which owns the Ritz Carlton, to get them to take down this fucking hotel. Like, move, get them, get fucking, get rid of the shit. What are you doing? Right. I believe the lawsuit is still making its way through the courts. I think there are supposed to have, I don't know if it's going to be a decision in December or some sort of movement. But I know that the court, in fact, sanctioned one of the Maasai leaders, sanctioned them with a gag order. So it's clear that the powers that be, the Western money powers, are moving the African state powers to totally encroach upon this Maasai land and this designated wildlife preserve that is home to not only endangered animals but animals, again, that it's their fucking home. Like, I know the fact that this is even a discussion, like, and I'm trying to even understand, Ritz Carlton, they obviously did an environmental site study, they obviously researched, and they intentionally placed this hotel right there anyway. Is the goal to eliminate the remaining zebras and wildebeest and lions and all these migratory African mammals? Like, are you really intentionally trying to kill them? And if you are, then why aren't we trying to kill you? Okay? Like, the wildebeest running their migratory path is not the fucking problem. The zebras doing what zebras do, lions doing what lions do. Like, this is not the problem. The corporatists, the capitalists are the fucking problem. So why should we lose wildebeest by the thousands when we can just BID? We can go to the hotel and we can BID. You feel me? Like, y'all, I don't know what it's going to have to take here. And again, this is not an issue. This particular issue now, and the reason I'm talking about this is because I just want to raise awareness, make more people aware. I shouldn't be the only one depressed by this shit. Come on in. There's plenty of depressing stories around. Y'all can come on in and get some. But obviously I'm thinking also about the people in the north of Canada, Alaska, the Inuits, the other native communities there that are not only being impacted by climate change, but the animals. Yeah, like, y'all hearing that these bears, there was a grizzly bear attack, think in British Columbia a couple weeks ago, and it's like, y'all, like, the wildlife is wilding out because they are feeling the pressure of their habitats being absolutely decimated. Like, we as humans are not being good stewards, but at the same time, it is a very small percentage of the humans that are not being good stewards, because the overwhelming majority of us don't have the power to do all this land destruction and encroachment all by ourselves. I mean, we participate in it because we're forced into the system, but a very small number of elites at the very top are the ones that are calling the shots here. Okay. And at the end of the day, we are still numerous and they are few. All right. And I just wish, I know I can hear the comrades now. We got to get organized. Yeah. I wish we were organized into a goddamn army, right? I wish we were organized to rumble in the fucking jungle, because the wildebeest can't do it. The lions can't do it. The zebras can't do it. But the Maasai, in fact, are talking about doing this. Okay. I wasn't able to confirm, but I saw some things that led me to believe that the Maasai, should this court proceeding not go in their favor, they might be ready to get rowdy behind this shit. And I don't blame them. And I wish they, what's the PayPal? Because we should send them support. You know what I'm saying? Kind of gave me when was this? When did Black Americans try to go to Ethiopia to fight Italian colonizers? What was that, in the 30s and the 20s? And the US wouldn't grant them passports, wouldn't grant them visas, so they could go and do some Pan-African whoop ass on the colonists. America put the kibosh on that shit. Dog, like, I wish we could all squad up and ride out for the animals versus the elites, because that's who's killing them. That's who's driving them to extinction. Unfortunately, I feel bad for the people on the ground who are simply taking the work that obviously they need. These are not their choices. I know that they would prefer better employment opportunities instead of destroying the migratory paths for the wildebeest. But that's not the indigenous people's call, unfortunately. Money talks. And shame on Kenya, shame on Tanzania for allowing this, whoever fucking allowed it. I'm going to keep an eye on this story, because I have a feeling the Maasai are not going to stand for this. And I would like us to stand with them in the ways that we are able. But hold on. I wanted to show you this, because this is tangentially related, right? So this is not to say that America does it better, because we don't, but this is something I had not seen before. And maybe because of where I live on the East Coast, and maybe this is not uncommon of a infrastructure project on the West Coast, or not, or where's Idaho? That's not West Coast. Yeah, not coast. What do they call that? What do y'all call it? It's mountains, upper mountains, whatever. I saw the story and it's really quick. So, migratory animals all over the globe, and apparently mule deer come through Idaho. But Idaho built an animal overpass over the highway. I said, well, looky there. I said, well, that's a great idea. You know, you could always stop building fucking highways, but we know we're not going to do that. But hey, goddammit, provide an accommodation for the fucking animals so they don't get obliterated by 18-wheelers rolling down the highway in the middle of the night. Let's look at this story, because I just found it interesting. I'm not saying that America's the best. No, I just found it interesting. So yeah, well, let's go ahead and check that out.
2 years ago, the Idaho Transportation Department built the Wildlife Overpass, and they won a Presidential Transportation Award for the project.
Yeah, there's been some great partnerships to make this overpass and other things happen.
We don't have the exact numbers, but during the migration last fall, more than 1,000 mule deer used the Wildlife Overpass. We have one of the largest mule deer populations in the state in this area, and since the overpass got built, we don't have a reported crash involving wildlife in this area on Highway 21.
So we know it's getting used, and that's just, you know, really rewarding to see that, because we know that 1,000 deer crossing that overpass is 1,000 deer that aren't crossing the highway. So that's great for the animals, and it's also great for motorists.
Now listen, I mean, to me, that is a small but somewhat thoughtful consideration for the patterns of migratory animals, right? You guys know, depending on where you are, but it's deer season right now. head on a swivel. You driving the DMV, especially head on a fucking swivel. A deer jump at your ass any goddamn place on the parkway. Not so much 95, but you riding some of these county roads. Oh yeah, you might see a deer or several. I crashed one of my first cars. Well, not crashed it per se, but a deer. Well, I guess I did hit the deer, but the deer obviously jumped out in front of it. Regardless, deer be fucking up cars. I get it, but they be fucking up themselves whilst fucking up the cars. So even though I've never really, I'm not too familiar with the animal overpass as a standard, highway kind of project. I was encouraged to see it, to at least know that someone's at least thinking about it. Now, I'm not sure if a similar concept could be applied in Kenya at the wildlife preserve, because after all, we are talking about thousands of wildebeest. So it would obviously be more practical for the fucking hotel to come down as opposed to try to, create a, an impossible created thing to accommodate thousands of stampeding wildebeest. But I mean, if we're going to continue to go in this retrograde direction of providing more infrastructure for fossil fuel burning vehicles, if we're if this nation, speaking of America and the world, I guess, but if we're refusing to turn away from fossil fuels, we're going to continue to drill in the Arctic and let the permafrost melt and drill and all that shit. Can we do something to consider the animals? Like, can we create some sort of parallel accommodation for said animals? And I know that's all very idealistic and naive of me to even suggest, because capitalism doesn't give a fuck about the animals. Capitalism is quite content for all these animals, all these amazing species of bear, beast, giraffe. Like, when I saw giraffes were endangered, like, that shit literally makes me nauseous. Like, it literally makes me want to throw up. Like, how can a giraffe be endangered? Like, it's just, the shit doesn't make any sense, And given that I'm closer to 50 than 40, I gotta say, like, I do believe that we will win, but god damn, it's a hard road to victory because um not only are we seeing innocent people be casualties along this hard, many fought battles, but animals that are simply just existing, trying to procreate and just be themselves, live, thrive, ideally, are taking L's in just ways that are just catastrophic. And I don't know if we'll be able to recoup. But if we take down the elites and stop all this downward pressure on the rest of us and the environment, I think we could save it. So we gotta squad up and use our numbers to our advantage. So before I turn you all loose, give it up, turn it loose. Oh, right. It's Giving Tuesday. I'm sorry, Begging Tuesday. Let me get my bag on. It's Begging Tuesday. Oh, see, look at me. See, I'm coming to y'all too late in the day. Y'all been getting begged on all day long on your timelines. Everybody got the handout. Please, baby, please. Well, let me add my name to this chorus. Please, baby, please. No, this is Black woman-led independent media. You guys know I say what I say. I do what I do. I'm pretty unapologetic about it. Don't know how well that's going, but it goes how it goes. So if you like it, even if you love it, throw something on it. BIDWKB, that's where you can find us on the Cash App, the Venmo, the PayPal, the Patreon, the BIDWKB, all the places. We certainly appreciate everyone that has ever contributed, everyone that has ever participated in the chat. For all of my fire famers, if you send super chats, I don't give a fuck if you send anything. You guys know this. This is where I fall down, because I appreciate you all just being here. I do. And I wish I could fake. I wish I could sell it better. I wish I could be more of a salesperson and a show woman, but I'm not. I'm grateful for small things. See, that comes from a life of low expectations. It's just like when you keep your expectations low, you can't be disappointed. So I appreciate those that come here and show love. I love you all so much for that. And the material support is just icing on top because it's hard times and you don't have to do it. You don't have to send anything, but you do. And I appreciate that. So thank you all so much for everything that you do here on Begging Tuesday. Consider supporting your favorite auntie on the internet. So before I bid you all adieu, my palate cleanser, I'm not sure how much of a palate it's going to cleanse, but I found it interesting. I'm actually throwing it out there. You know, I'm not a big fan of, I just want to start the conversation. I think because I've been talking for so many years, I'm actually quite tired of the conversation. I don't really give a fuck what the conversation is. I'm tired of having the conversation. No, fuck the conversation. But anyway, well, not fuck it. Let me calm down. Donnie Bird, thank you so much for your support. Afraid not. Love you to pieces. So, in 2024, some white folks, some white folks in Norfolk, Virginia became indignant at the thought that their information, their license plate data, their comings and goings around the Hampton Roads area was being well documented by the flock cameras. Yes, you guys are familiar with the flock. I think you are. The nationwide system of highway cameras that notate and document license plates, makes and models, locations, all kinds of data, right? All your business everywhere. Good luck getting away because the flock cameras is on that ass. And here's the thing, a lot of municipalities, the law and the language around how much public information is available about these flock cameras to, everyday folks like me and you. Some states and municipalities are rather cagey about giving out that information. They like, what the fuck you wanted for, taxpayer? Yeah, we know you paid for it, and we know. Here come the state. Yeah, we know we bought the shit with your money. What the fuck you want to look at it for? And it's like, because 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 we can, allegedly. So anyway, some whites in Virginia said, fuck this shit. They decided to file a lawsuit last year, and a federal judge ruled in their favor. Let's go to the package. It's not even a package. She just reading shit, but it caught my attention. I said, indeed. Well, let's go ahead and run that, please.
A federal judge in Norfolk has made the locations of more than 600 flock safety surveillance cameras across Hampton Roads public. The first time such a list has ever been released. Local cities and counties had previously denied requests for this information, citing Virginia's open records law and critical infrastructure protections. But now a federal lawsuit claims the city's use of these cameras violates Fourth Amendment rights, which protects against unreasonable search and seizures. The complaint, filed in 2024, seeks to stop Norfolk's use of the flock system and erase the data already collected.
This is basically the use of these flock cameras by law enforcement, because again, they share this data nationwide. All the law enforcement agencies, all this shit going up to Palantir, blah, blah, blah. This shit is warrantless surveillance, right? This is just the big brother eye in the sky monitoring your comings and goings. Another way for them to monitor your comings and goings without seeking your permission and not telling you when and where and how that they're doing it, right? Now, the location of 600 cameras. Hold on. I want y'all to keep in mind, so there's a lot of cameras in DC. Okay. I don't know if they flock. I don't know whether some of them is, D dot, whatever. But the Hampton Roads area, I wouldn't consider it to be all that big. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, 250,000 people, 350,000 people, 500,000 people. I don't know. It's not super big down there. 600 fucking cameras. Why? 600 sounds like a lot. So if they got 600 cameras in Hampton Roads, how many fucking cameras they got in Chicago? How many fucking cameras they got in Los Angeles? How many fucking cameras they got in New York City? Y'all can't move out here. All right. But I wanted to pose it to you guys because what can we, let me rephrase, hypothetically, what could someone's do with said information? What could you do with that? Now, picture it. Norfolk, 2026. This is fictitious. This is all speculative. This is all just me talking crazy. An ambitious group of paintballers. An ambitious group of paintballers or something related finds, let's say, the location of different eyes in the sky. No particular ones. no one's, you know what I'm saying? And, fictitiously, speculatively, hypothetically, they do some fucking recon. They figure out where these joints are. They get appropriately loaded up with their paintball accoutrement. And then they go target shooting. Now, I understand that the likelihood of any damaged piece of equipment being very easily and quickly replaced, I get that is what the likely scenario is. But I think this is an opportunity, hypothetically speaking, fictitiously, speculatively, not just talking crazy. Don't pay no attention. Don't go do this shit. It'd be cool if we could work. If somebody could work on taking out this system of surveillance, right? It's got to start somewhere. I don't think that we should just sit back and accept that every piece of our monitoring and movement is bad enough. The fucking phone is a snitch and a bomb. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we getting snitched on and bombed on and getting monitored in the sky. When do we fight back? Like, when does the resistance come? And trust me, I want to say this, tangentially, whatever. I so appreciate the pushback that I'm seeing from regular ass people across this country against the ICE kidnappings and everything. I'm talking about everywhere, every fucking place I have seen ICE doing raids and shit. Shout out to you, St. Paul, Minnesota. I saw y'all this weekend getting it in, getting it the fuck in. I seen you. They are pushing. People are like, fuck this shit everywhere. Okay, now it's time to take it up a notch. And here's the reason why: because the state isn't playing by even its own rules, and not to the extent that it ever did. I understand that the laws are for us. It's not for them to follow their own fucking laws. It's their system. It's their game. But hey, then we got to play the game with the same sort of reckless abandon that they play the game with. If it ain't no rules for them, it ain't no fucking rules for us. I understand we got to move way smarter out here. This is why I'm saying, like, this is an opportunity for some enthusiastic folks to maybe slow it up a bit, slow up that surveillance just a tad bit, speculatively, fictitiously, not seriously speaking. Because, by the way, I've seen videos of the fucking feds coming and knocking on black women's doors about shit they're saying on the internet. I'm like, nigga, don't even, FBI, Alphabet Boys, I know y'all watching right now. Don't bother, because I ain't answering the fucking door. So don't even bother going over here, nigga. Y'all gonna be on the porch knocking, okay? I don't answer the door for strangers, so get the fuck out of here. And anyway, I'm talking fictitiously and speculatively and talking crazy any goddamn way. But y'all, I would go ahead and try to obtain the location of said cameras in the Hampton Roads area. Virginia, a very 2A friendly state. I even think they got open carry in Virginia now. Like, hey, you're not going to rise no suspicions. Oh, and I totally suggest white folks do this. Or anyway, let me shut up. But I'm just saying. But anyway, please engage in the chat and in the comments. Like, and on a halfway serious note, what are the ways that information could be beneficial to us? In addition to potentially a tiny bit disrupting the surveillance state, or at least showing that there is a willingness to disrupt it, right? And I want to shout out to the people that brought the lawsuit, and shout out to the judge that ruled correctly. That was actually a good ruling. Look at judges starting to come through a little bit in the last days as the clock winds down. All of a sudden, justice wants to raise its head a little bit, like, huh? Well, I'm sorry, y'all need us out here? Okay, yeah. So anyway, that's my palate cleanser, and that's the show, gang. I will see you guys back here Friday. Again, thanks to all. Shout out to the Fire Fam. Thank you to all the people them. Please tune in tomorrow to the Remix Morning Show on the Black Liberation Media. It is Women's Wednesdays. Ear Doctor will be there. And don't forget, Classical Breakdown this Thursday, 11 a.m. Ear Doctor and I will be featuring the musical catalog of Isaac Hayes. And I'm very excited because I have not really listened. I know, obviously, I know who the fuck Isaac Hayes. Walk on by. Foolish pride. He had a very good version of Walk On By. I don't know. Did y'all like Isaac Hayes' Walk On By better than Dionne Warwick's? That's your music assignment tonight. Go and listen to both of those versions. Isaac Hayes' Walk On By and Dionne Warwick's Walk On By. And throw in Sybil's Walk On By for shits and gigs. If you wanted to get a little 1990, remake flavor of Walk On By. But anyway, Isaac Hayes' catalog, I'm very excited to check out because he's got bangers. I mean, it's incredible bangers. Oh, man. So anyway, that's Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Classical Breakdown. All right, gang, I'll see you guys back here on for White Day. Thank you all so much. Shout out to Will and Male. And I'll holler at y'all Friday, y'all. Peace. See y'all later. Bye-bye, y'all. Deuces.